Recent revelations showed us that the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid for the opposition research on President Trump by former British MI6 intelligence agent Christopher Steele, whose memos about Trump alleges ties to Russia were based on anonymous Russian sources. Furthermore, NSA veteran and whistleblower William Binney, known as Bill Binney, and former CIA analyst Ray McGovern have debunked those claims that the Democratic emails were, quote, hacked, as the available forensics evidence now points to a likely leak by a Democratic insider. Binney has further stated that if it were a hack, the NSA would have been able to detect it. So to further discuss this, I was joined earlier by Joe Lauria. He is a foreign affairs journalist and author of this, How I Lost by Hillary Clinton. Take a look at what he had to say.
We'll see in the next election. I mean, we're still debating this one. As you said in your introduction, the Steele dossier was paid for by the Democratic National Committee and by the Clinton campaign. And the other source of what became part of the January 6th intelligence assessment, which everyone relies on who believes in this story as the gospel for what happened, that intelligence score by only 3 agencies, not all 17, with no dissenting opinion, was in fact based on the Steele memos and on the Crowdstrike investigation. When the DNC computer was hacked last year, they did not allow the FBI to come in and examine the computer, strangely enough, but they hired a company run by a very anti-Putin guy called Dmitry Alperovich, and this company he works at the Atlantic Council, and his company Crowdstrike found within 1 day Cyrillic letters and the name of the first Soviet intelligence chief in there, and that was supposed to be the evidence that Russia had hacked this. It said that it was a sophisticated operation, but what sophisticated operation would leave such ridiculously amateurish clues? We also now know in the new WikiLeaks revelations of the Hive and before that Marble that the CIA can go inside and do a hack and leave fingerprints that would blame someone else. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but they have the capability of doing that. My article also talked about the consequences of RussiaGate in terms of the new McCarthyism, in which anyone who questions this narrative is branded automatically as a dupe of Russia.
Yeah. And
also the geopolitical tensions that have arisen partly by this whole RussiaGate story. So what I did was I updated it, and I had published it originally on the Consortium News website. I updated it and posted myself as a longtime contributor on the Huffington Post, where it stayed for 23 hours, and then it was mysteriously removed. And I was told nothing before. I've been told nothing afterward, even though I've asked.
So they didn't tell you why they removed the article, or did you ever get a chance to present your case and why it should stay up?
Exactly not. Right, there was no due process. I mean, it's a newsroom rule. If you're going to retract a story, the first thing you do is get in touch with the writer so he could defend his work or to see what happened. That never happened. They just took it down, and they ignored my email to explain why. There was a BuzzFeed reporter, the media reporter of BuzzFeed contacted them to ask why they'd taken it down. They issued a statement only to him in which they claimed that it was factually inaccurate and there were wild claims. So I asked the BuzzFeed reporter, did you try to get from them what these inaccuracies were and what the wild?
Right.
He never answered me either. I said, please talk to me if you're going to, get the other side of the story. He just took their statement, as the truth, and he dropped the whole thing. So this is where we're at now. I don't like the word censorship because it's overused, it's misused. But in this case, it looks like this was not an editorial, but a political decision to take down my story because it questioned the narrative that liberal outlets like Huffington Post believe in a quasi-religious way. And as zealots do, they're impervious to facts that go against what they deeply believe. They don't want to think about what they believe in.
You described RussiaGate as, quote, a partisan concoction devised in the midst of a bitter general election campaign, a manufactured scandal. You said a minute ago, new Cold War, maybe McCarthyism. Why are we in this kind of a journalist/political climate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I mean, given everything you just said, this RussiaGate concoction, why do you think journalism has arrived here, that it's been politicized?
Well, first I said it was perhaps a concoction by that. That's what it looks like right now. We still have the Mueller investigation. I suspect they might come up with financial crimes like with Manafort. Maybe they ensnare Trump in that. But to actually prove that Russia hacked those computers and that the Steele memos are accurate, they've been told, both Clapper and Comey both said that they could not verify this for the most part. And yet it turns up opposition research turns out being part of their intelligence report. Now, journalism has been politicized since the beginning of time. You try to aim not to be. And I have to say, I'm completely on part of this. I can't stand either party in the United States. So I just looked at the facts here. I've looked at the facts, which you're supposed to do. It's hard to be impartial. But for me, it's easier because I don't like either side. So I'm just looking at the facts. I don't support Trump whatsoever, and I never did not support Hillary Clinton, obviously. So what I came up with, based on what has been reported now, the Washington Post reported that the DNC and the Clinton campaign paid for the Steele memos. That's as mainstream as you can get. So, and we know about Crowdstrike, too, from mainstream sources. So you put two and two together, I got 4, and I don't think the Huffington Post was too happy about that. They just took it down. I think that's not a good thing.
Well, at least we know that everything lives forever on the internet, Joe, so people will still be able to find it. Thank you so much.